You know, I served on the Denham Springs City Council for 16 years, and I see a big contrast between the City of Denham Springs government and the parish government. There are a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of things different. When I first got elected in '93, I was elected to the City Council. It was called alderman at the time, and people often ask me, John, what is a councilman and what does the alderman do? And then you had to just explain it's the same thing as a councilman. But I tried to explain it to him, and I did it this way. You know, I first get elected, and 2 o'clock in the morning, my phone rings. So I get up, and I stagger to the phone and bust my shin and answer the phone, and hello, Mr. Wascom? Yes. Is this Mr. Wascom, the city councilman? Yes, it is. Or the alderman? Yes, it is. Well, this is Miss, I forgot her name, at such and such street. I want to call and let you know that the street light is out. Thank you very much. Let me get that address. Let me take care of that. So the next morning, you know, I get in and talk to the mayor and look, can you help me out with this? Who's going to take care of this street light? Well, you got to go to the street department, got to get in touch with the electrical company. And so I chased that rabbit for a couple days, and finally I get in touch with the person who says, we'll take care of that. So I said, look, here's my name and number. Would you please call me when you get this street light fixed? No problem, no problem. I said, it's important. I really want this number. I want you to let me know. So sure enough, he calls me and lets me know, John, got that street light fixed. It's working. It's good. You sure? Yes, it's working. Great. So that night I go home and I set my alarm clock for about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I jump up and I stagger up to the phone again, and I make that phone call and, hey, this is John, you know, the city councilman. I just wanted to call and let you know I got that street light fixed. Oh, I saw that, Mr. Wascom. I was just fixing to call you and let you know. I appreciate that. So that's kind of what you have to deal with as public service. But, you know, helping people, I find if we set our goals on helping people, and really every job, whatever you have here today, whatever you do, I know we go to work to make money, and I understand that, but really you'll be a lot more satisfied if we go to work to help people. So whether you're in the insurance agency or advertising or whatever you do, I mean, your job is to help people. And if you set your goals to help people, you'll always be a lot more satisfied. And I guess that's kind of what we do as public service. So many times I see people get elected and they tend to think of themselves a lot better than than they really are. And well, egos cause more problem in politics than those type of things. And Livingston Parish is probably, I think our population is 135,000 people. The truth is, out of the complete population, only about half are even qualified to vote. So, and then out of the half that's qualified to vote, only half of those are registered to vote. And out of the half that are registered to vote, only half of them go vote. And so out of the half that go vote, you only need half of those to win. So you're really not that special just because you win an election. And just letting you know that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Some of the comparison differences between the city of Denham Springs and parish government, with the city, it's smaller. We tend to have more control over things, and we make more micro decisions. Where in the parish government, we have boards set up to do different things. We appoint boards over drainage and sewer district boards, and where the city, we run all those things. In the parish, we have boards to take care of that. Fire districts, we have multiple fire districts across the parish. And I was talking to Fire District Chief, Mr. Joe Krasowski, last night. Let me tell you this quick story. I think he told me last week, yesterday. day before yesterday, he got a phone call of a fire on Jason Drive right here in Denham Springs. He said, John, we got there and we pulled up to the fire. The smoke was coming down in the windows. He said, I knew it was fixing to be a backdraft, really bad. So I told the guys, if we'd have been there 3 minutes later, he said, if they'd have busted that door open, it would have exploded. He said, so we bunkered down, got ready. He said, and people were crying, said, my dog's in the house. It's really bad. So it was a serious, real sobering situation. He said, we went in and they found the fire. It was in the kitchen, and the whole house was full of smoke, and one of the dogs was in a kennel, and the dog died. He said, but there was another dog that had worked his way into one of the bedrooms, got in a closet, and closed the closet door, and laid against the door to keep the door shut, to keep the smoke out. He said, when they finally got in there, they pushed it open, grabbed the dog was unconscious. They brought him out, and they had a respirator that was for animals. They put it on the dog and started working, and it said within a few minutes the dog was up and walking and doing fine. So, it's a good story, and we have a good group of people in this parish really wanting to work together. And I'll tell you this, the strength of our parish is not the elected officials that we elect. The strength of our parish is individuals just like you and I that get up and go to work to try to provide good things for our family and to make ends meet. Those things that you deal with every morning, say, I've got my goals set for my family. That's the strength of this parish. That's the strength of our nation. It's not the leaders that we elect. Sometimes I think they could cause more problems than they do good. Theodore Roosevelt said this. He said, if we could kick the person in the pants that is most responsible for our problems and troubles, you wouldn't sit for a month. So what I want to do is take just a minute and talk about the parish and a kind of an overview of some of the things. And since I've been on the council, we've had 2 council meetings. And let me just say this. Livingston Parish, we changed all 9 parish council members. And I'm going to take just a minute and run through each district. I've taken the Livingston Parish map here, and I've broken it down to all districts. And I want to just give you an overview. As I've met each one of these council members, they're fantastic people. Each one are new. They're wanting to learn, bring good ideas, a willingness to work with the parish president. I think the future of Livingston Parish is really great. I'm going to start with, for instance, District 1, I guess just for a great number to start with. That's Jeff Ard. As you know, Jeff Ard is Jason Ard's brother. It's north of Walker. It encompasses the town of Livingston. And when I talk to Jeff, they have a lot of logging industry and forestry in that district. And what you're going to find is the diversity in this parish that we're going to have. So it's a lot of logging and loggers. Remember the old Crown Zellerbach? Well, I think they're owned by Weyerhaeuser, and so they have a lot of timber, and they just do a lot with harvesting of trees and stuff. Now there's also some industrial, the Sunland, the old Shaw Waste Management is also located in there. They have CEI Trucking, the LIGO, McDonald's distribution plant is looking at coming in the District 1. And you can see with that, and also there's another major bottling beverage company, I think comparable to Coca-Cola, but up north. They're looking to come in here into in District 1 as well. That's also a site for the proposed Civic Center, and it's basically centered in around the center of the parish. But that's a very industrial district. Now, and of course, District 4 is Denham Springs. That's where I'm the councilman. I think as far as one of the oldest established, the most developed, as far as the oldest, that would be us here in Denham Springs. District let's see, let's talk about 3 just for a second while we're right there. Scooter Keene is the councilman for District 3. I don't know if you know Scooter. He owns Quick and Handy's here in Denham. Most of that area is Dunn Road. There's lots of residential. Of course, some spots have more commercial. Like Denham Springs, we have the Bass Pro. We're probably one of the strongest economic engines for the parish, with just attracting retail businesses and stuff. But District 3, Scooter's got Range Avenue. We call him Scooter. Range Avenue all the way up to Lockhart Road. It's really considered that to be more of like a bedroom community. But he has a wide range. He's got some houses that from $400,000 to $500,000, but he has Magnolia Estates, which is a little bit more, not quite as rich neighborhood. District 2, which is Gary Talbert. Gary owns Frogs Wholesale Fuel at the corner of Magnolia Beach Road. You know where that's at. Gary's a great guy. I've got a chance to meet Gary recently. He's very intelligent. He's going to bring a lot of good things to this parish. Gary's working really hard. Walmart is Watson. They're really not that much economic growth other than the Walmart, the Oak Point. And I'll tell you something else. A lot of these places we take for granted. In Denham Springs, we have a lot of good restaurants. They don't have things like that we have here in this community in other parts of this parish. Now, Watson did just get the Dukes, and that's really an upper scale restaurant. Watson, I was talking to Gary, they are probably one of the fastest growing residential districts, and their individual lots are filling up. There's not as much, it won't be long, but because of the school district, it has generated just the lots are tending to be filling up. Now, the industry that would come from that area is the gravel. They have some gravel mining, and they have a little small concrete plant, I believe, that makes cinder blocks and stuff like that. So that's going to be some economic strength, I think, for Watson. But the biggest problem is going to be traffic because they're just growing residentially so much. Let me take District 5, which is just south of Denham Springs right here. That's Bubba Harris. And I think I've said before, we serve on the council with a Scooter, a Frog, and a Bubba. So you can see where we still have our roots of Livingston Parish. Bubba has a lot of good high-end neighborhoods: Perry Landing, Harold's Ferry Landing, Plantation Estates. He has some of the best and the worst as well. He has Greystone Country Club, Shadow Springs Estates, and Eastover Estates. So he really tries to do the best he can, and they're actually building 500 more homes down south of 4-H Club Road. So it's poised for a lot of growth. There's some hunting clubs along the river in District 5. I think there's 2 of them right now. Really trying to take advantage of those areas. And let's see. Let me tell you a little bit about District number 8. This is probably, let me say this. You'll notice the size of the districts are different size, and they're based on the population. With 135,000 people, they all basically have about the same amount of people. But because of the concentration in 4 and 3 and 2, they're so much smaller than 8, 9, 6. It's 135,000 residents. I think divided by 9, you're looking at about 15,000 people per district. But the concentration itself tends to lean for different atmosphere, just a different way of life. I personally spent some time talking to Tab Lobel. He's a super guy. If you have a chance to meet Tab, I promise you'll really enjoy Tab. The incorporated areas for District 8 are Springfield, Killian, Marpaw, Head of Island. Those are the things that I tend to refer to District 8 as the fun district. There's just a lot of things that go on down there as fun. You won't find a bunch of upper-end restaurants, or pardon?
It's the best, yeah.
But some of the best ones, that's right. Now they have like the Diversion Canal. attracting Kevin's Restaurant and some of the other ones. Tickfall River, one of the biggest water recreation rivers that we have. Lake Marpaw, Blind River, is going through District 8. You can jump in District 8, jump in the river at, say, 10 Lizzie's. You could be in New Orleans, Madisonville in just 35 minutes. And I was talking to him as he named 10 Lizzie's and Black Lake Club, Blind River Bar, the Prop Stop, which has made the Worm Bucket famous. He said, John, and there's a bunch of other little watering holes all along. It just seems like for a place for people who like to have a lot of fun. And so I thought that was very interesting. But the problems that we have in Denham Springs are not the problems that they have over there. Most of the land in District 8 has gone to wildlife management. So they're really preserving a lot of the wildlife, but if you want to enjoy the natural resources, you'll find that. They also have the Tickfall State Park, and that's where they have the Tickfall 200 race. And out of the Powerboat Poker Run series, Jonathan could probably help you more with that information, that Tickfall 200 is the #1 site for that series, with over 300 boats qualifying every year, and it's a great thing. And inside that district, you have golf course, Carter Plantation, supposedly one of the best in the state. You won't find any big major retails, or there's also a low amount of concentrated subdivisions in that area. A lot of natural resources, but one of the benefits is that it contributes to a lot of problems like flooding, and so where we work on getting rid of those things, they really struggle with that. District 9, the far top north side of the parish, that's Mr. Shane Mack. Shane works at Dow Chemical. His wife Bridget, great family. I wish you could meet these guys, and you will. They're really fantastic people. Let me tell you a bit what I think about when I'm talking to Shane about District 9. That includes Holden, the town of Albany. They are big cattlemen. They raise cattle, a lot of ranchers. They sell beef. And that's not the kind of things that you're going to find in our portion over here at the parish. They actually desire a rodeo arena. That's one thing they're kind of looking forward to. They have a little bit of a business area, James Chapel Road. As you all go down the interstate, you see Ferrara Fire Apparatus, and there's a concrete business, and they're the only ones that have one of the biggest Hungarian settlement in the United States. So it's a little different, and I asked Shane, he said, John, if I had to describe District 9, it would be a slower country living style place. Gravel roads at times, and just it's completely different. If District 7 is Tracy Girlinghouse, and that is pretty much a mirror to District 4, and the reason why is because my District 4 and District 7, the majority of them are comprised of the city limits of Denham Springs and the city limits of Walker. So we kind of have this, it's a mirror. The same problems we have are the same problems and benefits that Walker has. In between both of us is Jubin Crossing. The west side of Jubin Crossing is District 4, and the east side is Tracy Girlinghouse, District 7. So we're really set for some major economic growth with a lot of things coming at Jubin Crossing. Have any of you on the balcony or anywhere or down the lower deck, has any of y'all ever been to the movie tavern in Baton Rouge? Yeah, lots of them. Well, if you haven't, for those few who haven't, there's recliner with a little button you press. They serve food, alcohol, so you can sit down and watch a big screen television, push the little button, they bring it to you, and a recliner that reclines, and it's fantastic. Well, Jubin Crossing is having one built there right now, and it'll probably be set to come. They told me at the end of February. I don't think it's going to be that quick. Probably more March or April, but it's happening. Those type of things don't survive in those types of portions of the parish. And I know there's some people who are really talking about zoning for the parish and adopting a master plan. But as I look at the way we're set with bedroom communities, industrial, residential, commercial, rural, it's almost like there's a plan in place set by a master before we adopted any type of plan. So I think Livingston Parish, I think somebody's looking out for us because things have been working pretty good. Let me take just a minute and tell you about, well, let's see. I want to talk to you about Jeff Averett. Must have missed that one. That's in District 6 right here. Jeff covers Port Vincent, French Settlement, Coyell. Now, Coyell, I think one of the big attractions is a baseball park. Walker South. Again, you're not looking at near about the type of developments that we have in Denham Springs, but they do really good. The Amite River, and I asked him, I said, Jeff, do you have any restaurants? What do people do? You know, where do you go eat? He said, well, we have Popeyes in Port Vincent. And I have a Domino's now. Okay, well, they doing pretty good. He said, well, you know, we do have a Crazy Dave's, and then there's the Moonlight Inn. So I said, well, okay. So these names that you've heard, this is the districts of things. When I was talking to Jeff Averett, I said, but if somebody wants to move into a place and be able to shoot a gun, he said, oh, we got the perfect district. He said, you know, if you want to buy some property and go and practice your guns, shoot guns, he said, we welcome that. And we was in a meeting one day, and I said, Jeff, where are you going? He was putting on his boots. He said, I got to go get my dogs. I said, where's your dogs at? He said, oh, they go up in the woods running. I think one of them's caught in the thicket, and I don't know where the other one's at. Well, I saw him the next day. I said, how's your dogs doing, Jeff? He said, were they okay? He said, well, one of the girls was caught in a log, but her head was out of the water, so she was okay, but she couldn't move. He said, and the other one's caught in some thicket. They couldn't get out. So they love that. That's what they love. That's the lifestyle that he loves. And if you enjoy that lifestyle, I promise you, District 6 is a great place to go and run dogs, shoot guns, and that's what they do. So I think Jeff Averett is perfect. We call him Bodine and if you're listening, Jeff, that's for Jethro Bodine. So he's a great guy. Let me just say this. I think all 9 of our Livingston Parish Council members are excited. They're encouraged to finally get a chance to work together with our parish president and move this parish forward. You can expect good things, I think, from Livingston Parish over the next 4 years. We're poised to grow, and I would like to say a couple things. Last night we had a parish council meeting, and during that meeting, it went good. After the meeting was over, my son texted me, who's in New Orleans. He said, Dad, I just watched you on television. I said, really? So I want to say a special thank you to Mr. Ken Benitez and Action News 17. Let me tell you something. They have the ethic of a major news company, a major news corporation that wants to bring the news to the people. And I really think if Livingston Parish gets behind Action News 17, it'll really help promote this parish in a great way. And Ken works hard of getting out and meeting the people and bringing quality programming to rural. You know, when I was raised up, I mean, my parents, get off the television was the number one thing, and we was addicted to television. Well, my kids today, they don't even want the television. But don't take away the internet. So I really think this is the new way of getting information out, and Ken does a great job of that. Inside the city of Denham Springs, we have zoning. I think Walker has zoning, but outside there really is none, other than some of the incorporated areas. I have seen firsthand the benefits of zoning and the problems of zoning. There's a two-edged sword. My advice would be, let's look at zoning, because there's a lot of good things, and I know they're considering rezoning across the I-12 corridor, not so much down and of way, but before we do zoning, we've got to look at it and take lots of care and thought before we go jump into some zoning. Like I said earlier, it's almost like we have zoning the way that the parish is established, but I know what your question is. to move forward, we do need some zoning because people want they want their properties protected. And then there's big businesses that want to come in and establish things, and they want protection for zoning. So I would encourage it. I'm going to support them. It's not really a problem that I have because most of my district's zoned anyway. But I will support them and encourage them, but I'm just going to ask that we weigh all the options and look at it closely when we do it. That's kind of my thoughts on the zoning. So.